are such an asshole!
Hey everybody, the old captain here from sunny, hot, muggy, hotter than all get out Florida. Anyway, you got an email request. If you have an email request, you can go to assholeconsulting.com. I won't mention his name, we'll just keep it anonymous. But he did say, hey, if you want to share it with other people, this might help other people. I'm 50, these are the facts, dear asshole, these are the facts. I'm 56 years old, I own a house, I owe $139,000 on it. I have a 401k valued at $650,000. I am employed full-time and am making enough to continue paying off the mortgage. The mortgage will be paid off at the present rate in about 13 years. My concern is the government may decide to confiscate retirement accounts. Anything owned, for instance, a house, is also a target for government confiscation. My question, should I do anything with my 401k? 1, leave as is. 2, pay off the mortgage and leave the rest in the account. 3, close the 401k for some other super awesome economic genius trademark option. If 3, should I pay off the mortgage? And then what do you recommend I do with the remaining funds? And sorry, Aaron, closing the 401k and sending it to all of you is not an option. Great. So then I had some other questions. Kind of like, well, is it big enough for you? Do you want downsize? And et cetera, et cetera. And it depends. And he responded, expect this may be 4th emails. Hadn't realized you need to know. Okay. House is in a very conservative state, in a not major metropolitan area. He has no place to move anywhere else, so he can see himself retiring there. Yes, it's just him and his wife. House is big enough for both of them and their stuff. I see if he could get a second job. He doesn't need to. He's got a pension and a pretty good paying job during the daytime. So yeah, he's kind of killing it. Pension, and he can work overtime. Job is stable as anything. Is it? So let's go back to the original question. Let's make sure I'm thorough. Oh, this stupid damn cell phone would work. So your options. Damn it. Leave it as is. This is what to do with her. Pay off the mortgage, leave the rest, close 401k, something else. All right, what I would do with your 401k, just leave it as is, as well as your house. And whereas fear of government confiscation, either outright or through taxation, a lot of people, these idiots, they think, well, I have my house and I own my house. No, the county and city taxes the fuck out of it, especially if you're in Minneapolis. And what ends up happening is you end up paying, this is where you hear about the old people getting kicked out of their houses that they've owned for 50 years because they retired, they're 90 years old, and the city or the county has jacked up their property taxes to the point that it was higher than their mortgage payment ever was. And so that is, you are leasing your property from the government. That is, so you don't own it. And sometimes that rent, that association dues, homeowners association dues, because that's all that property taxes are, is to live in a shitty ass fucking city. Sometimes it's a good city. Is that you get to lease that land from the government. That's what it is. Nobody owns their own house. So that's how they can still steal it or confiscate it from you, is by placing a rental or a property tax, of essentially a homeowners association tax. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So I would keep an eye on your property taxes. Like, make sure it doesn't jack up. Make sure some fucking liberal dipshits aren't moving into your town. Make sure your city council is conservative, because at least it'll keep your property taxes low. But then in terms of 401k or pretty much anything else, if the government wants to, it'll just take it. Your bank accounts, your 401k, your retirement accounts. So there's always that risk. Now, how do you hedge that? Well, you switch to physical assets that you hold and hide somewhere. Silver, gold, guns, overseas bank accounts, overseas investments in overseas bank accounts. If you follow FACTA, you have to report those to the IRS. And the IRS is like, well, we're going to tax you if you don't, give up those things, because that's how they get their link to you. But that's another way to do it. And if it gets so bad that the government starts stealing property, starts stealing, confiscating 401ks or haircutting bank accounts, you say, fuck it, I'm out of here. You have some overseas investments or properties. Overseas land would be another example. It's kind of hard for the government to go and get it, especially if it's with a country that says, fuck you, United States, you're not the fucking boss of us. So there's that way to do it. But otherwise, at your age, I don't think the United States is going to confiscate it anytime soon. I think because you're 56 years old, I even think, I'm not joking, even think my generation, the older Gen Xers, we might actually see a Social Security tax, or a Social Security check that isn't going to bounce and that hasn't been inflated away. Now that will happen inevitably, and when that all depends. And the reason, though, I think that older gentlemen like you and not quite as old gentlemen like me might not have our property confiscated, might not see an inflated away Social Security check, is because we have the world's reserve currency, and the rest of the world just sucks compared to the United States. So I think we can keep this. We've been keeping up this racket for coming up on a decade now, just printing off more U.S. dollars, and it doesn't cause inflation because it's sponged up by the rest of society, rest of the world, because they need our dollars, because their economies are suckier than ours. So there's certainly some things you could do, like I'd say invest in silver, invest in gold, invest in guns to protect your gold and silver. But if it's coming to the point that the government confiscates your house or they confiscate your 401k, yeah, that's when we revolt and we fucking kill those fuckers. That's how simple it is. Because if they're going to take away your life savings, I mean, what's next? What else is there to fight for? You were a slave for them the entire time, and you should fucking revolt. And so that's kind of my philosophy. It's like, yeah, you come take my house. You might get it, and I'll be dead, but there's going to be so many motherfucking corpses in front of it, you'll contemplate. I know most American Republicans are just a bunch of fucking pussies that will never do it. And I know, you little white people, you just, things will go well, we're America. Oh, that faggoty song everybody sings. I wanna believe in America. That gay song, that one, I heard that all of yesterday, which is 4th of July. Yeah, maybe singing that song like the fucking Partridge Family will make shit all better. Regardless, the point is, life isn't perfect, and that may be a thing you gotta face, is when they come for your house and they come for your 401k, then you have to ask yourself, what the fuck was this all about, and have the decency and self-respect to at least take more of their lives once they take yours, okay? Now watch, I think Google will probably. I'm just saying revolt. Like, if that happens, then you gotta think about it. And that's what the Second Amendment was for. Why did this go off? There we go. I hate that song. You want to be an American? Yeah, that'll keep the Chinese from invading, won't it? Singing that gay. It's not gay, you know what I mean. South Park gay. Pay off the mortgage. Oh, and then for now, though, I mean, in terms of practical things that I would do, I think people will confiscate 401ks and nationalize. I think that will come first before they start nationalizing and taking your house. So what I would be doing is I would be throwing your money into your house. That's what I would be doing. Pay down that mortgage. The stock market could go up or down. You could have made better investments, could have had more money at the end. But I would, in the meantime, probably pay off that house. If you got to get yourself into a lower income tax bracket, depending on your 401k, if it's a Roth 401k, yeah, I mean, maybe not pay it rapidly all the way down as fast as you can, but throw a little bit more into the house, paying it off early. But if it's a traditional 401k where you get the tax benefits, that they can't undo. They can steal your 401k, but they can't undo the lower tax bill you get with the 401k. So depending on whether it's a Roth or a traditional, if it's traditional, yeah, still contribute to your 401k. Get that tax deduction. Make sure that Uncle Sam gets as little as possible. But then when it comes to, but if it's a Roth, yeah, then I'd probably throw a little bit. Regardless, I'd be throwing more money into the house. If you got extra spare money left, you're like, what the hell we're gonna do? Beyond that, you know what I do? I travel the country. I enjoy the world. I visit your children and grandchildren. That's what they can't take that shit from you. They just can't. Yeah, you could go ahead and invest in a trade or a skill, learn something that, like, when you're 70, you still have some kind of barterable skill that you can barter that would help you sustain your life in case the shit hits the fan. But yeah, that's what I would do. And read the book Enjoy the Decline if you haven't already. Try that book. That'll really help you out. There's a book titled Solution, or chapter titled Solutions in there. That'll help. So, yeah, anyway, hope that gives you some ideas. I can't prevent the government from confiscating it. I mean, there's some measures and moves you can take. Silver and gold, paying off your house, figuring out which assets are going to be politically impossible or very unpopular for someone. The third rail of politics, that would be your house when they start taking your house. But yeah, just make sure you live among conservative people. If all of a sudden a bunch of illegal aliens start moving into your neck of the woods, get the fuck out, sell your house at the peak, get the fuck out, and go to a smaller, conservative place where they're not going to vote for Democrats. And that's about all you can really do. So anyway, hope that helps, gives you a couple ideas. Toodles.